Welcome back to the 2014 European Challenger Series quarterfinals. It's time for the third and final game of this match between Cloud9 Eclipse and Pulse Esports. Now, the next team to take down a Nexus will advance to the semifinal round, where they're going to face off against Meteor Makers in 1 week.
All right, so if you're just turning in, we had a godlike Kale from NIQ 760. He went 10-3-3 in that last game. Probably going to have to change up something, maybe ban her out. They also, though, had Hjarnan, Brain, we'll call him Brain, Swedish for Brain, had the MVP in the C9 in Challenger so far, but last game, he kind of got handled by the Pulse AD carry over there. I mean, he went 1-6-4 on Caitlyn, while as Woolite went 6-3-7 as Lucian, and he had a pretty good CS lead there, too.
Yeah, and the funny thing with this as well is Cloud9 Eclipse has been focusing on getting that bottom lane early. They picked the Caitlyn as a counter pick to Jinx in the first game, and he did okay at least. They've been rushing that Leona pick every single time. That hasn't even paid out for Voidal yet. And again, they've been kind of having their pick of the litter, and it's not been working out so well. So back into this game, Kassadin still banned away by the red team. Cloud9 Eclipse removing the Needly away from NIQ. And I think this is a disservice if they don't remove Kale here.
I think they have to make adjustments for that kill. It had a really big impact on the last game. There you go.
Okay. So
satisfied?
I am a little bit more, but now
all right, smiles.
Here's the thing. So C9E has very few choices now to pincher the jungle as before. If Pulse doesn't ban Elise, then Elise and Lee Sin are both out in the wild here. The Mundo ban as well. So now a whole lot of new things.
0 jungle bans so far. Whereas the first game, the plan coming into this from Cloud9 was targeting jungles. 2 jungle bans and first pick Lee Sin jungle.
Yeah.
So they targeted jungle really hard the first game. This time, it's wide open though. They can have their pick of the litter.
I actually want to see, I guess I don't need Lee Sin yet. I want to actually see Leona grabbed so that Lennox can play his favorite champion, his most played champion. Deny that from Voidal, even though I don't like Voidal playing. I think this opens up more for Pulse. And then I want to see if there's, like, I almost want to say Gragas mid just because he's so common there, and it's another steal away from Forbidden.
I mean, just starting it off, though, anytime Elise is up, like, the jungler on your team is going to be leveraging very heavily for you to pick that champion.
Yeah.
So I think it was a really good first pick by Cloud9, because even if you're giving up Vi, it's not that we go like Vi. If you have Elise has a lot of things to deal with Vi. Like, you can even repel the ultimate. And she has a lot of good answers for that. So I think starting out with that as the first pick, very well done from Cloud9. And then since there has been no support lock-in, they're free to get their duo lane already here.
All right, and once again, an early duo lane pick, and it's going to be Lucian Leona. Now this I actually...
Now that's a kill lane.
Yeah, that's a better lane. I don't actually like Kate Leona. I don't think Kate follows up on Leona very well. We'll see if Voidal can have a better Leona game this time around. I think it's been shaky, but Lucian has been great for Hjarnan here. So I think that'll be actually a really big point.
Yeah, and this seems more kind of like what I was expecting from Cloud9, because coming into this, the background on Cloud9 is like, these guys are all really high up Challenger on EU. It's the #1 Challenger team from EU.
Yeah.
And in solo queue and Challenger play, like, kill lanes are big, Elise jungle is big because you get a lot of early kills. Like, things that get early kills are huge.
Yeah.
And so this is more sort of a team that I was expecting to see from these guys. It's funny how, like, the Cloud9 EU team kind of has the same formula as the Cloud9 NA team did. Like, all these really high solo queue rated guys, bring them together and form a team, add a little bit of analysis in there, and you've got someone that you think is going to run the circuit.
Well, here we go. Pulse are picking up a pretty standard lineup for themselves. The Lee Sin jungle does come through here for Kikis. They decided that top lane Renekton was going to be the tallest man to go for here. With Mundo dropped away, they said, okay, we'll blind pick Renekton. That's fine with us.
I mean, yeah, all that on Pulse is looking like very good early dueling powers too. So they don't want to give away that early game. When you first pick a Renekton, that's the statement.
Yeah.
It's basically what you're saying. We're not giving you away early. Like, maybe you can outscale, but that's something we're not going to give up.
Well, so Cloud9 Eclipse now to counter pick the mid lane here as well as their top lane. They actually got both solos available for counter picks here. So looking for LeBlanc maybe right now. Top laners, you know, Jax and Olaf have been really big for Rwanda in solo queue. I don't know. I know Jack talked to me yesterday saying that Jax is bad against Renekton. Don't you dare go for it. That Renekton was like the default counter pick to that lane. But I want to see what they pick up here. I like that a lot.
Yeah, pretty common. Trundle's been gaining a lot of popularity in all regions, actually. Jumping into this tank top lane meta. Definitely like that percentage health when going up against Renekton. So he'll have the hard early time that everybody has, but he'll be really strong towards that late game here. And his early game suffering actually comes to an end a lot quicker than Mundo's does. Like, he can fight back fairly quickly.
Okay, so gonna look like a pretty strong lane. Good setup overall. I like C9E's champion select overall. I think they have a good roster of champions. Pulse gonna put together with a Ezreal here for AD carry. So Ezreal, Lulu bottom lane.
Yeah, the end game damage, I'm not really seeing a lot of end game damage there from Pulse. So it looks like they're the ones that are trying to end early here, because this team, while very mobile and you know, strong lanes, doesn't look like they have a lot of damage for that early game. They will definitely thrive on scattered fights. This Pulse team is definitely going to benefit greatly from chaos, because Lee Sin, Ezreal, those guys are going to definitely be very mobile, and with Gragas, you're going to be able to split them up. So they're hoping for the sort of more chaotic team fights where they can separate out their target and focus someone down. But Cloud9 here, I mean, they have a lot of roaming potential. Elise and LeBlanc, both. If you don't have vision control, then you're going to have a lot of trouble, because those are very strong pick combo. Yeah,
and they're going to see all these things in the open field there. And, God, I'm just thinking about it, and it's like, I feel like Cloud9 kind of got, like, if you could have any one, like, mid laner, right? Like, they have so many of, like, best in class and sort of, like, the standard defined roles for, like, each of these, right? Like, Trundle, Counterpick, Renekton. I'm, like, kicking myself for not thinking of it, but we've seen that matchup many times, and it's always been amazing for the Trundle. You steal all the stats when he ults. He's too squishy. Renekton drops in seconds in team fights. And that whole, like, remember last game where Mundo was unkillable and just, like, made everyone really sad? That can't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Renekton's going to be tiny. He's going to get killed. He's going to have a good time.
Little baby keychain Renekton.
Yeah, little baby keychain Renekton. I feel like it's so sad. Lucian, Leona, incredibly powerful lane. Actually has synergy now for once. Instead of going Caitlyn, Leona, I don't know why. Like, I feel like Cloud9 just got everything they wanted in this champ select.
It looks like a fearsome lineup here, and I'm expecting a lot of early kills, actually, especially with that Elise roaming around. I mean, she can gank. Like, looking at the lanes to gank from the Elise's perspective is like, wow, I can go, you know, wherever I want. You know, maybe the Trundle one won't be the best, but mid and bottom look pretty juicy here. Because Gragas is a melee champion. You know, yes, he's got great wave clear and dueling power, but he's going to be in melee range. He'll be pushed up pretty far in that lane. And then I always love ganking for Leona lanes.
Oh, man.
So
it's the best.
He's got a lot of choices.
So, interesting thing to point out, Odwamna went for Ignite and not Teleport. I feel like most Trundles I see go Teleport and are like, yeah, I'm fighting Renekton, I'm going to lose the lane anyway.
So maybe he's not counting on losing that lane.
Yeah.
Is he going to want to duel him early here? We'll have to take a peek, because the last 2 games, he has definitely been the alpha top laner. He has been destroying that top lane. To be fair, he's going up against Mundo, but
still.
Still. We'll have to see.
See what pans out. We've seen guys beat Renekton in lane with the outskill their opponents. So,
reminds me of Oktoberfest.
Yeah. Just some recall music. I appreciate it. NIQ, thank you. So I'm going to sit here in this lane. Flask, health, and mana potions.
Double flasks.
Yeah.
From both these mid laners.
That's a bit more rare.
So the thing about the starting flask with both these guys is, yes, they have a lot of sustain, but the potential for those early kills is still there, because their max life is very low. They don't have any flat HP. So if they're a little bit slow on using those health potions, then and gank from either of those junglers, Lee Sin and Elise are like 2 of the best early game gankers. So a gank from either of those on one of these fairly low max HP mid laners could definitely turn things pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty volatile lane. I actually have a sort of random thought that popped into my head when the jungle matchup showed up. So I was watching a video of, it was Dominate and Saint Vicious talking about one of the pro matches, and they're just commentating it as 2 junglers, and like, you know, Lee Sin actually outfights Elise early on, and if they match each other, Lee Sin actually wins that battle. Even though like Elise is like the more sought after like first pick jungler, that in the head-to-head there's like an advantage here on the other side.
Yeah, like Lee Sin's early skirmishes, very few people can beat him. Like, you know, maybe Olaf. Olaf is pretty strong in those as well. But it all does come down to the abilities that you're landing. So if you miss your Sonic Wave, then that's a huge, huge amount of power that you're going to be missing in that fight.
See if they can land them right there. Lee Sin landing his Q. Actually, same jungle route as last time for Kikis. Takes Wolves and Wraiths, then goes to his other buff. Whereas Ku is already starting his red right here. He's got Spiderlings. Be pretty easy pickup.
And he has started Doran's Blade, so might as well go over it since it's pretty common on Elise, but if you're not practiced at jungling, then you may be surprised that she doesn't have to take so much sustain. It's because she uses those Spiderlings to tank the damage, and then she also has inherent regen of her own with the lifesteal of her Skittering Frenzy in spider form. So as long as you maneuver yourself around to have your Spiderlings tank the large minions in the camp, and you'll be just fine with that Doran's Blade.
Looks pretty happy for these guys overall. Top lane is getting pushed in now by Jokies. He's got equal minions, actually, so Odwamna holding up, just taking a little bit of damage here. So we'll kind of keep track of this lane, the minion score being the big one. We'll see if they get any kills in a while. But the junglers are now kind of unlocked. They're level 3.5. They finished their buffs. Ku's looking bottom lane. Kikis looking mid.
So again, looking mid. Both sides of this lane are warded by Forbidden. So he was expecting to be camped again since last game there were so many early ganks mid. And he's got himself in a pretty good spot here to answer.
Okay, it's going to be actually the jump in on both sides here. Elendix not going to get jumped on too much. Forbidden does get out, loses the passive. That's not too big of a threat.
He did lose a lot of HP there, but as we said, going heavy regeneration, both of these mid laners. You know, so he's chugging up both his real potions after the flash charges. And as we said, you know, he saw Lee Sin, so he was really just trying to waste his time there. There's the all-in from Gragas.
Yeah, Ignite and Body Slam. Can he flash Q? No, Forbidden will get out. Just a little bit of health left, but an early recall forced out of Forbidden.
Can he land this Q?
No, 3 seconds left in the recall. He's not going to look for it.
Okay, so he didn't really have vision there.
You got to man mode it, dude. You got to try.
Can't up it. I mean, just on the off chance that you do catch him there, yeah.
Just throw a Q. There's actually, I think my favorite clip is of a jungler. It's from Snoopy at the World Championships.
Oh, the Cho'Gath?
Yeah, that he like Q's like in the fog of war and is like, I'm gonna die to Ignite, and flashes, kills a Nocturne, levels up off the kill, and it's like, what Ignite? It was glorious. I loved that.
That was pretty good outplay. Easy, easy.
You just say worth it in all chat. You say easy. Get tribunaled for it.
But I have to say, since LeBlanc did see Lee Sin out there and he was trying to waste his time, it ended up costing him his flash. Trading Ignite for flash, pretty good for Gragas.
Yeah.
Since he can easily finish off a gank with just a flash body slam, he doesn't need Ignite. So repeat visits from Lee Sin could very well be a thing in this mid lane.
I feel like the Forbidden's kind of is aware of how scary that's going to be. Look at his inventory. Yeah. He's got a Doran's Ring and then 5 consumables.
Yeah, a little bit worried here. He's going to want to keep up those double wards on each side of his lane. Ooh, what a good cocoon.
Jump in onto Elendix. 130 health left on that one. Shield comes across. One more attack to do it. That's going to be first blood. Going over to Hjarnan. Very well played, Cloud9 Eclipse.
Now, that's why you don't want to be predictable as a jungler. Lee Sin here, Kikis, ganking mid over and over, just as we saw last game. So they were expecting it. That's why LeBlanc, all of these wards, all of these consumables, she's aware for it. Even though it was successful and got her flash, no kill. Whereas Ku has changed it up. His first several ganks were all bottom lane.
Wow. So, good ganks coming up through. Kikis going to clear out the pink ward very safely, but Forbidden knows he is under fire.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for LeBlanc, because when you buy an early pink ward like that, you're investing a lot of early money, and you expect it to last a very long time because it's so early in the game. But when the jungler roams right through it, you know, only a minute later, pretty big letdown there.
Ooh, some good damage coming through. These guys still trading blows in the mid lane. Ku looking for it, but on top of a ward, Kikis is in fog of war. Pulse knows more about this one. Ku's going to back off, goes around the side.
So it's pretty much all on, can he land the cocoon to start it off. If he doesn't, then the 2 versus 2 will go sour. Lee Sin can easily, as we said, out-duel as long as that cocoon doesn't land on Gragas and they don't burst him down in the first few seconds. Or Lee Sin could just leave.
Kickus backs off, goes for his blue buff. Now, theoretically, this is timed. Every player kind of knows that, hey, blue respawns about 7-ish minutes. But Pulse going to get this pretty much uncontested. Gragas gets that one. Okay, that's safe. Elise counter jungles some of the Wraiths on the top side, goes back to mid. They know blue buff here. They know Lee Sin's off to the right. They jump in, land the root. They land the cocoon as well. So much damage, and that's the kill picked up. Blue buff going over to Fabivin. Nice.
Yeah, he makes sure that cocoon lands by flashing in for it. And Fabivin sets it up, landing the chains first. Very well done. They actually waited out the Lee Sin for so long that Pulse gave up on the mid lane gank, and Cloud9 come out ahead. I would have expected, even if that gank had failed, Ku to then have the option of further jungle invading. But because he had to flash in there and take some hits, you don't want to overstay your welcome.
And I got to hand it to Fabivin as well, landing the EQ to silence to prevent a flash from letting NIQ get out of that one at all. So I was like, he had flash up and couldn't even use it. So that's a rough one. Silences enough of a CC in the mid lane to make the kills happen. Cloud9 Eclipse actually holding to this bottom lane pretty much equally. For being, like we called them again, the MVP at the beginning of this match, they haven't done anything aside from lure in some jungle ganks to get the pressure.
Yeah. I feel like AD carries get a lot of the fame just because you give them a lot of kills early, and then because they have so much damage, just late game they're getting all the last hits. So if you just go by stats there, then you might be a little bit off.
Yeah, but yeah, these guys just aren't doing too much just yet. They're holding completely equal to Pulse's bottom lane. Ku back in his own jungle, of course, got his own blue buff since Fabivin got the enemy one. So double buff Elise going to be nice and happy.
And a lot of wards, too. I like how Cloud9 constantly, people are buying real wards, not relying on those trinkets. This is one of the few teams that does swap out their trinkets early so that their sweepers will be ready by level 9. And they make up for the lack of the trinket wards by buying actual real wards for themselves.
With Fabivin forced around, flashing over. Ku shows up to fight NIQ. Nice jump in by Kickus. Can he have the damage? Looks like a very low health bar. Oh, the stun. He can't ult. He can't kill Fabivin. The dash away, but Ku's going to fall over. Kickus will survive. Woof, Willett almost got that one.
A lot of the times, the advantage in the 2 versus 2 duels goes to whichever jungler makes the first move and ganks first, because they got the mid laner there, Fabivin running first, and being on the defensive for that meant the extra damage there. Somebody was going down. Ku just happened to have to take his place in the death chamber.
But he gave away double buffs for doing that. Not sure that was ideal here. Willett taking a bit more pain, but Voidal and Co. not making a lot happen in this bottom lane right now. They're just kind of sitting there trading farm and not doing a ton. Top lane as well, like really equal here, which for an anti-Renekton lane, I gotta say is a good thing for Odwamna, but nothing much happening on this side.
And as you mentioned, he did take the combat summoner there with Ignite, so he does have more of the kill potential than the Trundles that choose to run teleport, so it could do a lot for making that Renekton a little bit less aggressive early. Plus, as we mentioned before, he's just beating him up in lane anyway, so might just be a stronger laner on top of it.
Oh, Odwamna actually used his ultimate for the regen. He popped it onto Joki's no ult, no ignite, nothing force, just said, yeah, I want my health back. And Odwamna's back to pretty much full HP just off that cooldown. So I like that choice. I think it's kind of interesting. Mid laners, small farm lead to Fabivin for one of the kills, but a pretty close game overall.
And if you're going to do that as Trundle, you definitely want to throw down your W first so that you get benefit from that increased healing.
Kicker's going in, gets stunned though by Voidal, doesn't find anything to do. That was a close one though, he could have W'd, kicked backwards. So bottom lane still holding equal.
Lee Sin's still hanging around though. Looks like he's going to soak up some lane minions here. The dream, the jungle dream.
You have to farm a lane.
It's hard to do that though in the AD carry support lane.
They might jump you. Kickus actually not getting hit too much, surviving in this lane pretty well. Getting harassed, but looks like he'll live. Got no support, so it's just a 1v2 there. Ku stealing away again some of this Wraith camp. He is counter jungling frequently sees Lee Sin on the bottom side and goes and does something else.
Yeah, you always want to take advantage of any free information that you're giving. If the bottom lane is losing like that and it draws out the jungler, you need to make a move elsewhere on the map to answer.
Well, Voidal getting jumped on right there. Q's going to land from Wheeler. A lot of pain coming across to Voidal. Jumps back in, though. They look for the Ezreal. The pain comes across. Voidal drops down. The rest of the team is coming to help out here. And then big damage coming out from the Lulu.
Uh-oh.
Forbidden in a bad spot. Jumps to the side. Aggro's Dragon. Has the ulti dash. Uses it. Kickus shows up. Does not dodge. There it is. He walks at him and kicks him forward. Oh my gosh. The damage up with the ulti combo and IQ 760. Picking that one up. A lot of great plays by Pulse here.
Kickus able to give the kill over to the mid lane carry there by knocking him close enough to the edge of the dragon that NIQ can pull off the combo.
Such a good play. Dragon goes down as well. 1,000 gold lead now for Pulse. These guys are looking great. Top laners both recall. Sunfire Cape done for Odwamna, so he's holding on. But it's the only lane that is doing... Well, no, I guess bottom lane's doing well, but man, mid lane going pretty rough. NIQ still doing great on Gragas.
Yeah, that combo right there was pretty huge because taking the dragon after just kind of pushed Pulse over the edge. There was no answer from Cloud9 since they had also just lost the fight. There was nowhere for them to get an objective back. It was just a clean win for Pulse, and they can hold on to this 1,000 gold advantage.
All right, happy times here for the Polish team. Back to the mid lane we go. These guys on a bit of a lull again, but that's fine, just into the laning phase. I do want to see how this top lane fight starts going, because with Sunfire done, I feel like there's no threat from Renekton anymore. No, Dwamna can play a little bit more aggressively. You're seeing that here, actually, putting a lot of pain across. Kills minions in his face, doesn't even care. Just regens.
Yeah. He'll get a lot of life off the whenever the cannon minion dies.
So Viven's just wave clearing.
I mean, I would say there's no threat from that Renekton, but you're right. It's definitely diminished quite a lot. Anytime he gets that fully stacked Fury Bar, you definitely have to respect him. As you can see, he's charging it up here.
Going to bite some of the AD off. It's going to hurt Renekton a little bit more. Q harass. Just these guys trading hits right there. Odwamna healing back up. And of course, double Doran's Blade. We've seen that a couple times from Renektons. They get the Doran's Shield, but they add 2 blades on top for the damage. And then they move to Sunfire. So Joki's got a little while to go until he gets more items.
No River Ward, but he knew he was lacking in vision.
Pops the ulti onto Joki. He's trying to run away. Nice pillar, going to keep him alive for a bit more. Kicked back into the team, still trying to run through them. The red buff doing so much damage. The cut. Oh my gosh, the damage! Are you serious? Trading 1 for 1. Now Kickus and Ku in a battle. And Ku does have more health, but the red buff.
They're still on the chase, too. Look at this roam from Pavivin. He's going to try and cut off Lee Sin. There's the flash
Cocoon. The assassination damage is huge. The flash W. Pavivin gets it. Beautiful play.
They gave double bust over to LeBlanc right there, too. Oh, Ku backing off and allowing the flash to come in from LeBlanc. Oh, he's got nothing to dodge this.
Olendix is going to block it, though. It's kind of like Caitlyn, but cooler. Blocking off the damage from the ulti. Good support play by Olendix there.
That is going to give them control of the lane, though, and they can push it up for some extra turret damage down bottom.
It's going to be the turret killed. It's very low in health right now. Just going to take a couple of shots, and that will be there. So Cloud9 Eclipse finally making headway down here in the bottom lane. The Bloodthirster done on Lucian. Help them a bit here. They're taking their time with this one.
They want to let all the minions die. Since they know they have another wave coming, they'll leave it up to the minions to do the dirty work here.
They're giving up the gold again.
I mean, it's... How close do you actually have to be?
Pretty close.
Okay.
Like, I don't think either got it right there. It's 150 gold if you're relatively close by. You don't have to hit it. It's got to be fairly nearby. And I want to say it's fairly short because I've seen teams push it, and the support will back off to like a screen's length away, and it'll put all the gold in the AD carry.
Okay.
So it's like you can micromanage pretty reasonably. Ooh, that was close. Would have been nearly knocked into the team. That would have been a kill if they landed that one in the correct direction. But the double bust will stay alive here. Ku gonna get spotted there by Kickus, but maybe not much happening for it.
Now, Ku is gone with the early magic pen here for Elise. Not even upgrading that Spirit Stone, which gives you a lot of sustain in the jungle. So
wow,
he's really, really looking for that offensive gank power, just going very heavily investing into that early magic penetration. Whereas Lee Sin is going the more tanky route, and he's going to be very, very useful for his teams in terms of getting vision down and also just creating plays.
He's going to have a lot more money because of the conservation as well. Like,
exactly.
We'll see if it pans out. Both these junglers have been very instrumental in their team's success. 3, 1, and 1 for Lee Sin's been part of every single kill for his team. Same for Ku at 0, 1, and 4. So So these are really the guys to watch right here on basically their favorite champions.
Oh, Bivin does have Deathfire Grass, though.
Lands the Q, dashes away.
So,
he will be safe.
I mean, he's completed his burst item. He's going to be looking for kills. He's trying to get roam going. You can see there he was trying to do it. Looks like Renekton's going to be squishy now. He's got ult on him.
Okay, about 800 health left. Big heal from the Q, but it's not going to be enough. Dwamna just tanking the turret basically the entire time and doesn't care.
Yeah, Trundle into Renekton looking pretty good there now, huh?
Pretty happy for this one. Kieran's going to spot Kikis, who's very overextended. Kicks back, double knock up there, but on the wrong side of the map right here. Top lane turret will go down, and now can Kikis get out? Ward over the wall. They spot him.
He's got backup coming. And he's the one who went with that Sightstone, so he can make the plays.
Whew, flash from Kieran keeps himself alive. That again would have been a kill. So a lot of narrowly missed Gragas ultis so far in this game. Kikis still making... All right, I guess he's fine. They just kind of stopped trying.
Pretty close game here. It's really going to depend on, I think, the LeBlanc roam. Can we see him make use of this Deathfire Grass that he's rushed? Because right now, it looks like he keeps getting chunked out before the fight even starts.
Yeah.
And if LeBlanc has to use her ultimate defensively, then it takes out so much of her damage.
Keep in mind that she also did not bring magic resist glyphs. Gragas could one-shot her later on in this game. Ku on one side, Bivin on the other.
They really want to make this pincer movement work.
Can Voidal get some of these engages going? There we go. Cocoon onto Woolite. Damage coming across. A lot of pain there onto Ezreal. Ulti in from Lulu. Repelled up. No damage coming across. Woolite still low. One hit from dead. They can't find it. 760 locked up. The damage burst coming through. Not quite finding the damage. Kikis jumped on as well. Just a lot of traded across damage here. The ulti in from Trundle keeping himself sustained up. Lowering the health on Lulu. No kills still picked up. Huron then found by 760. He's got to be careful. Puts the damage back across. Into the brush he goes. Still 0 for 0.
Nobody dies.
Low health bars.
Now, who's going to regain control of the Dragon Pit, though? Because both of them have been chunked down.
Looks like it's Joki's forced a little bit backwards. Cloud9 Eclipse actually giving away control. Pulse not trying to take it either, though.
It's safer to get damage on that mid turret because they have a minion wave coming. Even though Trundle's pretty tanky right now, tanking up the dragon is a lot of extra damage when these fights are so close.
And it's going to be scary here. Minion's going to drop down. Kieran then back to the bottom lane here, trying to keep his turret healthy and remove the minions in front of it. Gragas, new blue buff. Blue buff for C9E is up right now. Dragon, again, on the table. But there's no AD carry for Pulse right now. He's on the other side of the map.
Both AD carries seem to be just farming up here. Ezreal with red buff is a huge, huge annoyance, though. Oh, Voidal does get tagged.
Good damage from Kikis. Jumps over. Almost pulled Voidal into the Dragon Pit. That was actually close. You can pull someone with you. That was actually... If he flashed, you would have gotten him into the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, pretty close right there. And that probably would have been the death of old Voidal.
Yeah, probably a flash trade coup going forward. Pink ward control here for Pulse. Might get traded out. Oh, kills the Spiderlings. Poor baby spiders. Well, that was not what he wanted.
I do like how the extra sweeper is coming into play for Cloud9 here. Bivin on LeBlanc is looking for those assassinations, so he's been clearing out wards. Okay, so they just give up the dragon, and they're trying to answer it with turret here, but they have to answer very fast.
Okay, well, the team is coming in. Pulse likely to be here very soon. Turret goes down. Will we see an engage? Barrel's coming across. Battle might start. There's the knockback. Doesn't do much.
Only
Hits the
two.
tanks. Yeah, that's not an ideal shot. NIQ forced back a little bit. A lot of pain off of the Voidal. Voidal goes down. Kulik not doing much either. The damage off onto the front liners here. Dwamna and Joki's taking pain. NIQ in the front lines. Q forced backwards. Pulse looking very good in this fight. Voidal already dead, of course. 5 versus 4. The chase. NIQ looks for a Q. Hits on the Q. Not much health left on Elise. He's forced back. Cloud9 Eclipse losing that battle.
Yeah, Elise still very squishy. Now, we also have LeBlanc running for her life, very low on mana. They definitely have control of the mid lane, and they're not letting them back either.
Look at the dash in. Kikis, though, gets baited in. Nice job, Kieran. Then jump in now for the AD carry. Woolite overextends a bit, does not kill off that one. It's going to be the mid turret finally going down, but trading a kill apiece for a turret and a dragon for one turret.
I have to say, Renekton lasted a lot longer than I thought he would at the beginning of that, too. Elise, a lot of her damage does come from her spider form and getting in melee, but she's so squishy with this build here that is very heavy magic penetration. It wasn't able to stay in there long enough to do a lot of the damage and had to back out pretty quickly.
Only now gets a Ancient Golem. So finally upgrades the jungle item here for Ku. Get a little bit more stats there. We'll see if that pans out nicely, if he gets more tankiness as this game moves on. But so far, yeah, the jungle pressure, I feel like it's been a little bit better for Kikis now as we've gone farther into this game. Of course, the gold, very equal. 300 gold separates these teams.
Yeah. And Kikis, as you talked about, like he went with the utility full health build, so he's been able to stay in the fights longer, and he's able to make the plays with his dragon kick because he has the confidence that he's not going to get bursted down so quick. So he's a little bit less jumpy with his play.
You know, something I've noticed as well, like it's been a trend with mid laners, and I want to say some of the junglers, actually, yeah, with Elise it is. We're seeing less and less magic resist glyphs. Both LeBlanc and Elise have 30 MR, which is what you start with. With Sword Shoes and Runes, you've got like 22 magic pen on Gragas. With Void Staff, they've got 0. And like he's just going to be doing true damage like for most of this game. I feel like that's part of why Ku's dying so fast. It's part of why Forbidden keeps getting pushed out of fights. I feel like people should do that less.
Yeah, well, so with Jungle Elise, he's looking to have really high impact early ganks.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people go with the hybrid offense tree and the magic or the AP blue runes instead of the magic resist blue runes, just so the early ganks are that much more effective and you have like the maximum offensive potential. Yeah. But once you get to this stage of the game where it's transferred into team fights, that's where you see the fall off. And you're right, the area of effect magic damage is really hurting Cloud9.
We'll see if they can overcome this right there. 1,000 gold puts them ahead right here. They actually grew a lead over the last couple seconds. Uh-oh, Elendix. Not going to go for it for Bivin. And it seems like everyone is just durable enough to not get one-shot. We haven't seen like really explosive LeBlanc plays since the Deathfire Grasp.
Man.
It's all been early game.
And even though he's doing his best to clear out all these wards, without upgrading the sweepers all the way to the Oracle's lines, like you're not quite sure if you actually got it. It's a fairly small circle. They're doing their darndest to get all of the wards out, but even though every time we look over at LeBlanc, he's clearing out a ward, there's still vision for Pulse.
At least it's 30 gold every time. It's gotten money, 20 or 30, depending if it's a trinket ward or not. Mid lane doesn't get swept out actually, so no gold quite picked up by those minions. Here and then back to the bottom. They're putting a lot of trust on this Lucian here, and this to me was how C9E used to win all their games before. Was Brain got really big on the AD carry. He's 2-0-0 so far. He got a couple of ganks there from Ku early on. And it feels like Odwamna's doing a very good job as well. Like, this is, for what it's worth, kind of how C9E used to win. But Pulse, though, kind of a new breed of opponent. They've got a crazy mid laner who's been doing amazing for them in this series.
Yeah, he's had a very high impact, and he's about to have a even bigger impact when he completes that death cap that he's working on. Because, as you said, there wasn't a lot of magic resist, so he went for the just pure power spike of death cap. Only just now we saw Negatron Cloak being picked up by Ku. He's definitely tired of feeling that AoE burn.
Yeah, take a little bit less damage this time around. We'll see if he goes Banshee's Visage or what. I think we've seen Abyssal before. I wouldn't even be that surprised to see it. Photo comes off some minions. Looks like the jump on a kick is not going to bring him down. Ward doesn't quite land on the brush, so that's not actually going to see too much.
Now,
he's still running back and forth.
This Trinity Force Blade of the Ruined King build is going on Ezreal as well. I like it a bit more on Lucian than I do on Ezreal. Since Ezreal already has a pretty easy time kiting around and not as high damage in those team fights, it feels like he's not going to have that big of an impact.
Yeah, I actually, my favorite is actually Trinity Force Infinity Edge, just because
I thought you said you don't like
so, except Ezreal's a weird one. Just because you have so much free attack speed, grabbing crit as your second item is a really big power spike. And then I actually usually add a Phantom Dancer. Like, I'll just stack crit on him. It's kind of weird. There's like a bunch of really random builds because of the weird way they scale.
What you're saying is there's exception to
every rule. It's a complex game, Kobe.
Okay. I'll let you off the hook there. Yeah. But yeah, Ezreal, I mean, it's kind of the same idea though. He gets benefit from the on-hit effects as well with his Q from Blade of the Ruined King. It's just I don't feel like it's the same impact.
Yeah, he scales off it less than Lucian does, who gets the free auto attacks as well as the attack speed scaling from his other abilities. It's not bad on Ez, though. I still do like it.
Look at that rotation, though. That was even after they took the Gragas ulti. Still had the confidence to burn Dragon down in time. That was fairly bold call right there, and they just barely got away with it.
Well, good job by these guys, though. Now 2,500 gold puts Cloud9 Eclipse ahead. Doing a bit better job in this mid-game than they were last time. Not finding themselves caught out. Finding, oh, speaking of that, Hjarn then nearly gets killed. So almost not finding themselves caught
Trundle
out.
here is all by himself with this turret.
1 versus 4, nearly 1 versus 5. There comes Fabivin to help this one out, but this turret still taking damage. NIQ not in the best spot right here, but this turret does fall. Nice job by Pulse.
So they able to answer the Dragon. Since Cloud9 went for that bold call while they were low health, yes, they got the objective, but it left the map exposed afterwards because they must recall after taking that one down. And Pulse were able to even out with that mid-secondary turret. So it was a good adaptation there by both teams.
Yeah, I've really liked both these teams' mid-game play calling in terms of like, well, we can't do this, but if we go somewhere else, we know they're not there and can take stuff. I've seen a lot of these turret pushes come through. It's a nice set of plays by these guys overall. Instead of just kind of saying fight fire with fire, they fight fire with water, which, as you know, is super effective. So it's been really good for these guys.
Doesn't look like anybody's got any grass here. So I guess that strategy is going to work out. The Blade of the Ruined King finished again with Odame. And, you know, it works just as well on Trungle as it does on Shyvana. So I'm really liking that he is going offensive once again.
Yeah.
Since he's kind of past the point where he does have to be super worried about that Renekton. And he's looking to be a split pusher. And I don't see a single person that can handle him all by himself from Pulse. So
no,
he's pretty much at that point where they're going to have to dedicate multiple resources to him.
Yeah.
And all he really needs to do now is start getting some good ward coverage to back up his aggression.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he can't get over walls, doesn't have teleport, has to walk his way to every fight.
He can make his own walls, though.
He can make his own walls, but they get jumped over by everyone on Pulse.
Did you know?
Did you know?
It deals 1 true damage, the pillar.
Yeah.
That's why you can actually steal Baron with it. As someone...
has that ever happened?
Yes, it has happened.
Wow.
There was a post about it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it just does 1 true damage for the purposes of taking tower aggro.
Yes.
So if you trundle pillar somebody under a turret, you're going to get shot.
Got to be careful about that one.
Bang, bang.
Yep. Olivia's wall does the same. Got to be careful. Those true damage walls, man, they are scary things to deal with.
I mean, if you steal Baron with a pillar,
man,
you've got to get some kind of
achievement unlocked
for that. Yeah. We should have achievements in League. I feel like for things like that.
Yeah. But then you know you're just gonna make a custom game and have your friends say, "Hey guys, get Baron low."
Oh yeah. Never mind. Then we'll just have those achievement farmers. Lame.
Yep.
Oh,
done that.
Finally rewarded!
And he misses the E! The Ignite's not going to do enough through the shield.
Oh, I was going to say he's finally rewarded for using that sweeper. Like, I always love mid-lane assassins picking up sweepers. Oof. Uh-oh.
Damage output, not going to land the flash here, and then...
Blade of the Ruined King got him out alive.
Yep. Just there you go.
Best build ever.
GG. Barrier and flash helped a little bit, too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Blue buff going over to Coop. Picks that up with the Volatile Spiderling. He's going to be safe on this one. Mid lane still getting pushed around. Cloud9 Eclipse looking a bit better in this match overall. Going back to the lanes, though, they're taking it extremely slow. I mean, this is a close game. The team can just say, oh, yeah, we'll just siege and win. So,
well, I mean, yeah, if you're sieging against a Gragas. So that's really good wave clear right there. Yeah. And Ezreal actually can counter poke at the turret, which is really annoying, especially if he has a red buff. So they're trying to play to their strengths with that LeBlanc and catch people out, as we saw with Lee Sin. They just haven't been able to actually capitalize on that. If this team does siege up, they kind of rely on the Elise Cocoon to land, and if there's aggression from Pulse, then they just try and trundle pillar and book it.
Yeah. So good luck then. Good luck catching him, because you don't have the ability to very easily. We'll see what these guys actually do for their mid-game plans, because I always ask the question. I never know definitively what the way to continue an advantage is or to build an advantage, outside of all right, fight really well at Dragon. Ooh, bit of damage. Pops an early, again, Lulu ulti onto Woolite. He's going to survive.
So, well, I was thinking that they were going to go with the Trundle split push plan for Cloud9, but it doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah.
They're really just fighting the vision war, tooth and nail, and still waiting for a LeBlanc pick.
Let's see. Mid lane, definitely trying to get the ward coverage. Looks like Baron is kind of the target for C9E. That's where kind of a lot of their ward coverage is going. They're sweeping a lot around there. Another ward goes down.
Oh my god, 3 sweepers down at once.
Killing the wards. A lot of them going away. Another ward going down. Yeah, so we have 3 sweepers on both sides. On both teams, I should say. Locket is done here for Kikis. So very teamwork oriented. No Aegis at all for C9E.
Hey, he's got a longsword there. He's getting a little crazy. He's getting carried away with himself. Going damage on that Lee Sin.
That's a cool way to play it.
Yeah, 1 longsword.
Well, I was going to say get a Hydra and kill things, but sure, yeah, 1 longsword.
It's pretty much the same thing.
Similar damage.
All right, Dragon going to pop up in about 5 more seconds here.
Will they find Ku? Good damage there. Kick is forced away. I don't like that one so much anymore. Will it in the back line? Shield coming across. Juki's in the front line. Nice stun coming out from Voidal. Juki still forced away. Has to run. Trundle Pillar comes out here and then dodges through it. 1 kill picked up. Make that 2 kills picked up for 1. Good start to this fight for Cloud9 Eclipse. NIQ 760 forced away by this one. Pulse still running here and then he's going to be safe. And Dragon Control is Cloud9's now.
And I think at the other side of the map at the beginning of that chase, Gragas double ulted Elise and just LeBlanc. He zoned out Forbidden there with his combo at the fight. That's why we saw the LeBlanc clone pop so far back in the jungle and him trying to run around. Rest of the team could carry though.
Ooh, dodges the body slam just barely and the barrel. Hjarnan getting himself away 2-0 and 2 on that Lucian. Once again back to no deaths. Mid lane turret, tier 2, gonna drop down Forbidden with the kill credit on this one. Pulse kind of reeling now after that fight.
Yeah, so that was a great pickoff for Cloud9. Not only did they get the kills, but also Dragon plus mid turret is a very big boost to their gold lead. I'm really curious what happened over in that jungle because Gragas came down with no ult left and LeBlanc had her clones popped.
Yeah. Well, likely a bunch of burst and a guy with no magic resist at all. Deathfire, Grasp, Void Staff, and soon, I don't know if that's Death Cap or Zhonya's coming up next for Forbidden. I could see both actually being a wise choice here. But on the other side, though, you've got a further scaling Gragas. NIQ 760 carried the last game for Pulse. He's got 3 big core items here, and he's going to be honestly explosive in these team fights.
Oh, he doesn't tag Baron, though, so Voidal got off easy on that one. No extra Baron damage from that aggro.
No. But there's Baron. Or, sorry, blue buff. Again, picked up for Forbidden. He's actually stayed at 2-1 and 0 for a really long time in this game.
Yeah.
He's harassed people low, but hasn't picked up kills himself.
Exactly. He hasn't picked up much CS for himself either.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot easier, to be said, you know, for Gragas, especially in the late game.
Well, sure.
But he's really been doing a lot of work trying to clear out wards and look for the surprise LeBlanc pops.
Well, a little bit of control over Baron. Looks like they're... Oh! Took aggro again. Careful, Ku.
I would not want to start Baron for them either because this Gragas is so fed. There's so much money on this Gragas. That's the one thing you don't want to do is fight in the Baron pit where you've got extra magic damage debuff on you and you're all grouped up perfectly for his spells.
Yeah, not ideal. So it looks
Better
like
just
C9E.
leave him alone.
Yeah, so Cloud9's goal seems to be very ward control focused. One more hit. Nope, can't get it. Couldn't get to if he upgraded his trinket to oracles, he would have gotten it.
He did. He had that pink eye over his head.
Oh, then he didn't walk into the brush.
Oracle sweeper.
Oh, I'm just silly then. He didn't walk into the brush. He could have gotten it.
It's upgraded.
Okay, well, never mind. We're gonna move on. NIQ sweeps out wards. Doesn't have any in front of him. He's saved. Gonna grab the blue. These guys slowing it back down, turning back to the split push farm in the bottom side. So a very fed AD carry is coming with a Infinity Edge likely to follow.
And he's also got part of his defensive item, so he might want to finish that Banshees before he makes his Infinity Edge, because that Negatron Cloak into a Banshees would be a huge, huge swing in the team fight. If you have that and it blocks Gragas' ultimate, then that's more of a difference than any amount of extra magic resist he could stack. Blocking that Gragas ulti is pretty much the only thing that he's looking for with that Negatron.
Yeah, that's going to be a scary thing in front of him. Looks like second tier bottom turret going to go down as well. Cloud9 Eclipse really getting their way through the base now. All 6 tier 1 2D turrets are gone. Not going to find any other openings just yet. But these guys are just slowly getting their way forward in this game. And I want to see where they go next with this one. Pulse definitely forced to respect all the damage output here. And really the Polish team hasn't been allowed to do much on the map. They've been reacting to everything Cloud9's doing.
But they still hold that Gragas.
Yep.
So it's you can see how indecisive Cloud9 are right now. They know that they have the upper hand and they want to force something, but they're so scared of fighting in that Baron pit that it's really hard for them to bait Pulse into a bad spot, because Pulse know that they have it as well. And that's why I think that they should play to that Trundle split push instead of waiting around this Baron, trying to bait over Pulse as Pulse slowly catch up and slowly close that gold gap.
Well, let's see if it does get closed. We're now at 6.5, almost 7,000 gold separating these teams. This number has grown over time, to be fair. And they do have some better scaling. They've got the Trundle versus Renekton. You can see the individual gold. Trundle holding 2,000 gold over his opponent. Mid lane pretty equal. 80 carries another 2,000 gold there. Those are the big players, it seems, for C9. Are those two guys, the physical damage dealers on the roster. They're the ones to watch out for here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they've just made the call to wait until Lucian makes his Banshees. Okay, so now it's completed. He has gone for the complete defensive item first. Now they've got an answer for the AoE Gragas ultimate. Hopefully, for his sake, he doesn't get his Banshees taken off by something like a Glitter Lance or an Ezreal Q first. But I feel like now they're ready to go for that all-in fight because they've hit that item for their AD carry.
Yeah.
And again, they're trying to bait around Baron.
Well, Baron Ward's going to go down.
There's one Banshee's down.
Yep. It'll come back in 24 seconds.
Unless it gets shot.
Unless it gets shot. Ezreal Q where?
Ooh, Trundle's sweeping in for a flanking maneuver here. So they didn't have the hard engage, but they can go for the pillar.
Bit of damage there on the AD carry and mid laner. Cocoon off on the side. Odwamna still just chasing down the front line. Nice solar flare. He's going to lock up Juki's a bit. The dash forward. Not quite enough damage from LeBlanc and just gets exploded right there. Vivin drops. They trade 1-for-1. Mid laner's dead on both sides now. Juki's back in towards Odwamna, who's forced to run away, getting chased down by this Ezreal. But in comes the AD carry. Harnan picks up one. The jump in now from Voidal. Again, the dash is away, but it's going to be the Cocoon. On to Renekton, the damage output coming over the Juki's. Can he fall down? Ignite is on, and he will go down. Voidal finding that one. 3-for-1 in this fight. Cloud9 Eclipse not done. They chase down. Kick is stunned up. Dashes away, he comes to safety, but the inhibitor under fire.
Great flank there by Odwamne on the Trundle, coming in from the slide to land the slows and set up Voidal for his Leona ultimate.
Oh my gosh, they're trying to actually close the game out right here. 20 seconds on any revives now. 4 versus 2. Low health bars though. First turret's going to be going down. Kickus, great kickback, knocks into 3. Still the damage coming across towards the next. This could be the game right now. Kickus very low, forced to run away. The jump in, Ku not going to quite pick up the kill. Going to be forced back, but the Nexus falling down to half health. Cloud9 Eclipse going to make it into the semifinals.
I have to say, with how much hype there was for the Cloud9 EU team, Pulse deserves so much credit.
Yeah.
Because they played both of these games really well. I think that's definitely an EU Challenger team to keep your eye on because they look like a very, very promising team.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, this whole thing starts again in 5 weeks. We're going to pull new teams to the Rank 5s ladder, pull in the top 3 from this bracket, and play it all over again. It's another team to watch out for. I definitely like these guys. There have been a lot of teams with early exits who have a lot of potential in front of them, and I do want to see more of these teams. But it was Cloud9 Eclipse who did it. Some really good plays. Their AD carry, I believe, went unkilled the entire time through. Their top laner, Odwamna, pretty much won every single time.
Yeah.
His lane, gotta say, those are two of the standout players for me.
Definitely. I have to agree with you on both those points. Even though he was Shyvana versus Mundo the first couple times,
Sure.
The Trundle into Renekton was pretty strong as well.
Yeah, so very good play by these guys. And, of course, that does it now. The final European Challenger Series quarterfinal is in our match history. let's check out the upgraded bracket. On February 6th, it'll be the former LCS pros Ninjas in Pajamas taking on Tick, Trick, and Duck in our first semifinal series.
And in the bottom half of the bracket, it'll be Meet Your Makers versus tonight's victors, Cloud9 Eclipse, on Friday, February 7th.
And while Europe is powering down till next week, the North American LCS kicks off their Week 3 with 4 huge games on Saturday. Up first, Bjergsen and Team Solomid taking on the struggling ManCloud and XDG.
And then right after, EG and Cloud9 face off. It's time for the North American challengers to take to the Rift.
Yeah, Saturday's quarterfinal match features Spring Promotion Tournament participants Determined Gaming taking on former Curse support Rux and the rest of the class from Curse Academy.
The action kicks off at noon Pacific, 2100 Central European Time, live from our Los Angeles studio.
And with that, we've reached the end of our time together tonight. We're going to miss you. But, of course, I'd like to say thanks to our friends at Coca-Cola, and I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Now for myself, Kobe, and the entire live broadcast crew, good night, GG, and we'll miss you.